now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast. This is not a drill, people. Eberechi Eze is on his way to Arsenal, and today we're going to talk about what he will offer the team. This is a show that I've wanted to do for a very long time. He is without doubt my favourite player that doesn't play for Arsenal, so to see him strut out on the Emirates wearing the number 10 shirt is going to be an absolute dream for me. He's a player that I have been following very, very closely since he was in the Championship. I've followed his career for years. I've been obsessed with this player. So I've got a very, very strong knowledge of what he can do, what he can bring, and where he will fit in. Obviously, I'm projecting that based on what I know from him, about his character, about his work ethic, and what we've seen at Palace under Glasner, under Roy Hodgson, and his work for England, of course. But the way Eze has grown over the last couple of years just shows he is more than ready for this move. He's a player that brought Palace their first ever trophy and followed it up with a Community Shield win. He is a player who is absolutely ready for this move. He's been ready for it for a long time. He's someone that I was incredibly disappointed that we didn't make the move for last year. But here we are a year later. It looked like he was going to go to Tottenham. It looked like Arsenal had fumbled the deal. But on the 11th hour, we've swooped in, and in even more dramatic style, we've snatched him right from under Spurs' fingertips. And he looks like he is going to be an Arsenal player very, very soon. But what will he offer? That's what everyone wants to know. Where will he fit in, and why is he so special? And that's what I'm here to tell you. So let's have a look at him last season. If you look at his heat map, there's a lot of work on the left-hand side. Eze's a player who's more than capable of getting the ball right out on the touchline and working his way infield. You look at where it's congested on the left. It's in the first two-thirds of the pitch. So kind of the edge of the Palace defensive third and going right up to the edge of the attacking third. He's someone in the middle of the park. He will be happy on the touchline. He will get it, he'll move central. And then when you look at where it becomes most congested in the center of the park, it's in and around the penalty box. He's a player that likes those out-to-in runs, and he will cause havoc. He's incredibly efficient on transitions, on the counter-attack. He's got a great relationship with Mateta and Sarr, and obviously players like Adam Wharton in midfield. And Arsenal have these kind of profiles, except we have much more talent than Crystal Palace, as you can imagine. But if you look at his stats last season, 34 games played, 31 started, averaged around 76 minutes a game and played 2,600 minutes, made the team of the week twice. At Arsenal, he's going to make that every week. But let's have a look at some of his goals. So you can see his goals are in red here. This is from Opta Analyst, and you can see his assists are in purple. So 24 goal involvements in all competitions last year as Palace went all the way and won the FA Cup. And that was in 3,138 minutes. Not a huge number of minutes if you compare that to the likes of Saka, but obviously Eze wasn't playing European football last year. So 24 goal involvements in that number of minutes is absolutely incredible. And you can see where they're coming from. They're coming from the center of the park. His assists, the chances he creates are coming from the middle of the park. A lot of these come on the carry, on the transition, but he's a player that can also break down low blocks very effectively. And when you look at the attacking sequences, he's the player that's involved most at Palace. I mentioned Sarr, great player on the other side. 126 attacking sequences for him, 148 for Eze, and 113 for Mateta. But Eze, you look at it and you look where they're coming from. 82 shots, 36 chances created, and then 30 build-up shot to a shot. So he's a player that he is central to everything good that comes with the Palace attack. And he carries a lot of that responsibility. He's the player that they look to when the chips are down. Who will get us out of this? It will be Eze. Arsenal have that to a degree with Bukayo Saka and Martin Ødegaard sharing the load. But having a player like this who has been carrying a team for a long time will be a huge lift in the Arsenal dressing room. And interestingly, I think Elise leaving Palace last summer actually helped elevate Eze even more, because I think the two of them shared that responsibility. And when Elise left the club, Eze was forced to really step up, take charge, and show that he was the main man at the club, that he was capable of carrying that workload. Because with England, we've seen him come on and he's been used as a left winger, sometimes a left wing back, and he's put the absolute shift in. He's worked incredibly hard, but that doesn't get the full value out of someone like Eze. And let's have a look at some of his goals in the Premier League alone. So 7 goals in the league, and you look at where they're coming from. He did underperform his XG by 3 goals. That's something that we will hope will improve. The fact that it's around a 30% underperformance is a bit worrying, but it's something where you look at where the shots are coming from, and he does create a lot of these situations himself. So being at a team like Arsenal with more control, less kind of fast build up, and more opportunities in and around the box for him to show his technical qualities will hopefully result in that XG leveling out and being very on point for Eze. But again, you look at where the shots are coming from. I mentioned the out to in runs that he makes. He likes to start on the wide area. And this is why I think Eze as a left winger at Arsenal is perfectly fine, because we're seeing Arsenal starting to play more transitional. We saw against United time after time we were breaking forward. We saw this repeatedly in pre-season where Arsenal were passing the ball forward, getting it into areas and giving it to players to run. We didn't always have the profiles on the pitch to be able to execute what we were trying, but the intention was there. With Eze, you've got a player that thrives in these situations, but he also thrives with small touches, very short passes, give and goes in and around the box. To sum Eze up, he's a player that Arsene Wenger would have absolutely adored and probably would have chased a long time ago. Mikel Arteta has loved him for a long time. I think it was a board decision that he didn't come in earlier, but Arteta's finally got a man that he has wanted for a couple of seasons. And when you look at where the shots are coming from, he's more than happy to shoot from outside the box. We know that that's something that Arteta is fine with players doing. He doesn't want an abundance of shots, but he likes players that will pick their moment and have a shot. Declan Rice does it. Thomas Partey used to do it. Ødegaard does it. Saka does it. Ethan Nwaneri does it. So Arteta is fine with shots from outside the box, especially from technicians. But a lot of these as well, remember, Eze's also a free kick specialist. He scored one against Chelsea on the opening day that was chalked off, but he brings that extra threat from free kicks to Arsenal. Declan Rice has now stepped up as a genuine option, but he has only scored 2 free kicks. As someone who has been hitting them for years, he's very, very competent in this area, and he's someone that can really add something to Arsenal's play in that area of the park, because right now we don't have a player that is capable of doing it on a regular basis, because we haven't seen Rice prove himself time and time again with direct free kicks. So having that will really add something to Arsenal's game. Add in the distance shots where he picks his spot and puts it in the top bin. There's a lot of similarities to what Ethan Nwaneri does in that area, but he can also hit the ball on the volley very swiftly. We saw it against us at the Emirates last year when the corner came in. Eze edge of the box on the volley, almost a scissor kick type motion, and put it in to a very, very tight angle at the post, too far for David Raya to get. And similarly, in the FA Cup final, when he arrived and he just hit that first time. But let's have a look at his chance creating carries. So this is a big, big strength of Eberechi Eze. And it's something that Madueke has as well. Madueke is one of the strongest carriers in the Premier League. Gyökeres is a very strong carrier. Arsenal didn't have that beyond Saka. And we're now adding 3 players in one window who are very, very strong in the carry. They create chance time and time again from carrying situations. And again, I've talked about the out-in runs. If you look at some of the red arrows on the left, you can see that Eze is coming infield with the ball and running towards goal. And he tends to run from out into the center, into that zone 14, edge of the box, that traditional 10 position where he can play a pass in or he can shoot. And when you look at what he's done, there is just a repeatability here. This is what he likes to do. This is where he likes to carry. And this is where he can really cause damage. So this was 23-24, and this continued through 24-25. This is a big feature and a hallmark of Eze's game. And Arsenal are doing this more. I highlighted this after the United game. So these graphics were from The Athletic, and this is Ødegaard on the carry running straight through the middle of the park. And what you can see here is Martinelli started wide. He's come infield. Saka's also come infield. So when I mentioned that Eze could absolutely play on the left wing for Arsenal, he's quick, he's a powerful runner, he's a good carrier, good dribbler, but he's also a very strong transition player. So you could find Eze in the position that Martin Ødegaard's in, or you could find him where Martinelli is. And in both positions, he would be more than happy. If he was in Martinelli's position, there's a good chance he would start slightly wider, but he is also more than capable of making this run very central through the middle of the pitch. And this is an example of him with Ødegaard's position. This is against Fulham last season. You can see it's Mateta making the run. He's got Sarr beside him, and he's running straight through the middle of the park. That passes on. You can see where he wants to go. And it's a contrast to what we saw with Arsenal. Eze is very, very good in these positions. He's a very assured passer. He's also someone who, like Saka and Madueke, Diamond, and some other players that we've now got, he runs with his head up, shoulders back. He's got a full view of the pitch. And this is what I love in a player. Add in Eze's ability to glide across the pitch and really have that just complete clean motion as he advances up the pitch, all down to his first touch, how closely he runs with the ball at his feet. He's incredibly difficult to stop. He's also someone that takes risks and plays off the cuff at times, whilst also being fully aware, because as I said, he plays with his head up. And this is another example. Calafiori played it into Ødegaard on Sunday, and Ødegaard gets the ball. Again, you can see Gyökeres is making that run straight in behind. This is similar to what Mateta does for Palace, and what Sarr is very good at doing as well, and running in behind. And again, you can see Saka, he's given that run, he's making the option. But Saka's not used to this. He's used to going wider and getting the ball to feet. But one of the reasons I picked this graphic is because you look at Calafiori's position. There's absolutely no reason why that couldn't be Eze there. With Eze beside Ødegaard, both playing central, both playing as eights, with a Declan Rice behind them, for example, giving Zubimendi a breather. This is something that we're going to see more, is rotation in midfield. We've now got a huge amount of quality. So Eze in that left eight position is something that I think we'll see a lot of. And when we're facing low blocks, we're going to need players like that with quick feet, very sharp minds, very good pressers, and disciplined players who can open games up, play off the cuff, and give you that kind of nonchalant, freestyle, old school number 10 style of football that Eze has. And again, this is a similar example. You can see in the way that I highlighted Gyökeres, you can see Mateta there. He's going straight through the middle, and you've got Sarr on the outside. Eze's running through the center, and this is him in very much that left eight position. You can see the left back going round him on the outside, but it's very much three attacking players, and Eze almost coming in from the left side and going more central to play that pass through to the right wing, because he's very good at just getting his body across the player, because he's very strong, and whipping that ball with his right foot and playing it. But at the same time, he has got that straight pass straight into Mateta in his locker, because we've seen that many a times. So a lot of this isn't projection. This is stuff we've seen before. And that's a brilliant thing, because if a player's coming from another league, like Gyökeres, for example, we're having to look at things like, how quickly does he strike the ball whenever he gets an opening? How quickly does he do this? How does he handle contact? How does he handle aerial duels? With Eze, we've seen it all before in this league. We know that he can handle it. We've seen it at international level as well. And we've seen him step up time and time again against big teams and get Forest big points in the Premier League. So with this, Ødegaard had the ball, and this was a very poor piece of play. It was just a case of releasing quicker into Saka. He ended up carrying into the middle of the park. Again, why I've highlighted this is because it's an example of Arsenal playing quicker. This all started with a very quick breakaway. United had a lot of players busting a gut to get back, and we didn't take advantage of it. By contrast, this is Adam Wharton in this position. He plays the ball in early, and you can see Eze attacking the penalty spot. And similarly, you can see Gyökeres in this. He's made the run into that area. Ødegaard hasn't picked him up, but it's an example of what Eze could do if you put Ødegaard in Wharton's position here, or Bukayo Saka. They are both more than capable of playing that pass. Similarly, Eze is more than capable of, in the Arsenal team, making that run from deep as a left eight box crasher or as a left winger, getting into the box and really attacking that ball and putting the ball into the back of the net. So on Saturday, we saw these transitions happen a lot, and we failed to execute them time and time again. Tactically, it was on point. Our turnovers were fantastic. The way we got up the pitch and into dangerous positions was brilliant, but we didn't do enough in the final third to execute. And on this occasion, you can see Martinelli's run's not great. Ødegaard's pass isn't good. But it's a mixture of both of them here. This is two players that are just a bit out of sync because we don't usually play this way. But with Palace, you can see on this occasion, they're much more used to playing transitional football. Mateta gets the ball out to Muniz, who's straight down the wing, cuts it back, and Eze is attacking the edge of the box. And you can see the arrow point where Eze wants to hit that space. And he ends up winning the Palace the FA Cup with this goal. So this is the kind of thing he can offer Arsenal. But again, right now he's playing more central, but Palace play a very different system to Arsenal. And they do play that three at the back, wing backs, and three up front. Eze's got a very free role from the left, going central, and really drifting around the park. But within it, he has to work very hard, and he has to press, and he has to do the dirty work that you don't often associate with a player like this. But Eze's a player with a mentality that he just wants to win. So one of the things that I absolutely love is after he won some trophies, he said, everything is there for me to win. I want to win, and I'll do anything I possibly can to win the Premier League. And it seems what he wants to do to win it is move to Arsenal. He believes that Arsenal is the club that can win him the biggest trophies. And I believe that Eze is the player that can help take us to another level. This is a player that should have been at a bigger club a long time ago. He's been very loyal to Crystal Palace. He had that terrible Achilles tear whenever he was breaking into the England team in 2001. It's been a slow comeback since then. His consistency's been pretty good, but I think big teams were put off moving for him as a result. For Arsenal to make this move now, it's absolutely huge. It is worrying that it's come after Kai Havertz's injury, but for me, this is a player that will add a huge amount to our team. I mentioned a nonchalant, old school number 10. This is a player that Arsene Wenger would snap up in a heartbeat. He's a quintessential Arsene Wenger player, a prime Wenger baller, but he's also like an Arteta soldier. I mentioned the discipline, the work rate. Glasner's a coach that is very, very positionally driven. He's very like Arteta in instructing people where to play. Eze is given more freedom than other players, but he's a player that works hard, tracks back for his team, and presses from the front. He's also very good on the turnover, and that's something that Arsenal haven't been great at, is we win the ball very high up the pitch. We make some of the most high turnovers in the league, but we're very poor at turning those high turnovers into shots. We also know we need more central threat. On the left, we've now got a player in Calafiori who's looking very fit. If you've got Eze who will protect Calafiori with his defensive work, Calafiori will be able to get up and down. And on that side, you will have two of the most gifted technicians in football who will be able to get up and down and really work and really protect the Arsenal backline. They won't be taking chances, but they'll be playing beautiful football and really working hard to make sure that our team is in a position to win games. And two things that they have in common. Firstly, beautiful first touches and the ability to pass very smoothly, but they're also two players that are very good at feeling what's needed in a game. Calafiori defensively, we know he's got his suspect moments, but within the game, he knows when to go forward. He fills it out and he finds his moment and he works his way up the park. And that's something that's a brilliant thing. Eze has that as well. He's very good at knowing what's needed at the right time. He can take on 2 or 3 players comfortably. He is also capable of losing the ball. I always think back to Alexis Sanchez. People inside the Emirates would get frustrated at Sanchez at times. I used to love it because Sanchez would go at his man 10 times in a game. Wouldn't care if he got it taken off him 7 times. He would just keep going and going and going. Eze isn't quite like that, but he is a player that's more than comfortable in taking risks and carrying through the centre, beating his man in wide areas, skipping his way in towards goal. And what you will see with him is a player that can play left 8. He will be able to play alongside Madueke. He'll be able to play alongside Ødegaard. He'll be able to play in place of Martinelli or alongside him. This is a player that complements a lot of players within the Arsenal team. And in Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal have a player who's a very powerful runner who will run the channels. And this is something I've talked about before. But with Eze, you've got a player, if Eze is playing on the left wing, can comfortably go inside whilst Gyökeres goes on the outside and then really make use of the talents he has by receiving the ball in the centre areas and giving us the central threat that we don't quite have at the minute. In short, this is a signing that I think is a huge level raiser for us. I don't understand why it's taken so long to get this done. It's a huge shame that it's come as a result of Kai Havertz's injury. But the hope is Kai will be back in a few months and we will Eze well bedded in. But thankfully, this is a player that's had a great preseason at Palace. He's won the Community Shield. He's gone to Chelsea and played a tough game on the opening day, scored a free kick that should have stood, and he is completely ready to play. Unlike Victor Gyökeres, he hasn't gone on strike. He's been very loyal and respectful to his team, and he's now ready to come home. He's had an incredibly hard journey to get here. He was released by Arsenal, released by multiple other clubs. He then got his big move from QPR to Palace, tore his Achilles straight after he got his first England call-up, and he's had to work his way back. Well, now he's on his way home. So tell me, what do you think of Eberechi Eze? Is this a signing that excites you as it does as much as me? Are you going to be watching first touch compilations of Eze tonight? This is something that I do far too often anyway. But what excites you most about his game? Tell me in the comments section. And if you've enjoyed this show, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please keep coming back for more. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again very soon.